Welcome to Dale Frazier Photography. In today's video, we're going to be covering 5 things that you should know if you're considering buying a drone. So let's get to the video. Again, thanks for tuning in to Dale Frazier Photography. If you're new to the channel, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Dale and I'm a working photographer in the East Texas area. I've got to start with this. First of all, guys, if you're thinking about getting a drone, congratulations, because it's one of the funnest photography tools that you can have. If you're another YouTuber and you're thinking, hey, I would really like to get some of that awesome B-roll footage, whether it be, maybe you're a moto vlogger, maybe you're a guy that does YouTube videos about vacations, or it doesn't really matter. Let's just say that you're thinking about getting a drone because you really want some of those really cool, epic drone shots to add as B-roll in your video. I'm going to cover a few things with you real quick and kind of help you make up your mind. Number one, again, like I say, congratulations. These things are so tiny and so powerful now. This is the Maverick 3 Pro, and it is so small I can actually carry it around in my tank bag on my motorcycle. As many of you do know, especially if you came from one of my other channels, I am a moto vlogger. Again, it's probably my first YouTube channel that I created here on YouTube, and I can remember, man, I want to do some of them epic B-roll shots. And when they first was able to get a hold of a drone back then, number one, it was pre-Part 107, and it was pre-recreational flying guide, and I had this big unique drone, and the thing was so big, it was like in a 2x2x2 cubed box. The biggest obstacle to that right there, especially when you're on a small dual sport motorcycle, is number one, you need a van to carry the thing around. So really using it for moto vlogs ultimately never did work for me. I was able to get some pretty cool B-roll shots when I was up at Roaring Rivers, but again, that was a deal where I had trailered my bike up there and was able to kind of get a few shots around the campground. But with today's drones being so small, like I say, you can put this thing in your backpack, you can put it in your coat pocket, and it really makes things open up for guys that are wanting to add that really cool B-roll and or just do visual storytelling with a drone. Right now, you can go out and you can purchase this exact same drone, and you're going to read on the Amazon website or many other forums that a drone that small, you don't even have to register if you're using it for recreational use. I'm going to try to demystify a couple of things real quick, explain to you what you can and can't do with recreational use, then we'll go into a little bit further and we'll talk about getting your Part 107 remote pilot license. Part 107 governed remote pilot license. Number one, you can go out and get a drone. You can go out and you can fly your drone. You've got to take a small online course that is basically consists of a recreational use. They've added some stuff over the last 12 months to where you've also got to be complying with another group, a flying group, if you will, which kind of complicates that in and of itself, because it makes you wonder, okay, well, I've got my recreational flyers and I'm just doing this for me. I'm just doing this for my channel, and my channel's not monetized, so I should be okay. Here's what I'm going to say, guys. Number one, if you're doing B-roll for your channel, are you flying recreationally? That's going to be up to you to decide. If and when your channel gets monetized, can you monetize those videos? I want to make things really, really simple. I'll give you an example. Back when I first got that Unique, again, it was pre-Part 107. You didn't have to have all the stuff that you have to have now. But when I actually bought the Gen 2 version of this same drone a year ago. And it's a cool drone, love it as well. My neighbor down the street's like, hey Dale, he says, I know you got a drone, and we live out in the country, and he's like, hey, I'd really like to get some photos, some aerial photos of my house, and maybe you could kind of fly over it a little bit, get some aerial photos looking straight down so that we can kind of map out how to do a circle drive in our driveway. And that way I can kind of visually show my wife what's going on. Number one, as a recreational flyer, and I want you to answer this down below, can I do that for him legally? If you answered no, that I can't do that, you're on the right track, because there's really no way that I could say that I was recreationally doing this for him when he asked me to do it as a project for him and his wife. So you got to be very, very clear, and the rules are very, very clear on what you can and can't do. One of the big things that a lot of people think about when they're thinking about their YouTube channel, especially if you're just getting started and you're non-monetized, is they think, well, there's no monetary gain, so I can go out and do this, I can go out and enjoy myself, and I'm not going to say that you can't. Here's what I'm going to say. Number one, you're going to hear some stories about the FAA. And you're going to hear people complaining about so-and-so's gotten a ticket, so-and-so's gotten arrested, so-and-so's done this. And I'm going to back up and I want to tell you this, guys. Number one, I believe with all my heart that the FAA is here to help us. They're here to guide you. And I can give you not a personal example because I don't personally know anybody it's happened to, but I've seen in other videos where people were contacted by the FAA and they were notified, hey, you can't be doing that because your channel's monetized or it doesn't fall under the guidelines of recreational use. And the people have corrected it. FAA gave them a 6-month or 12-month window to get their corrections made and really worked with the people. I think the problem is where things get confusing sometimes, especially with the Part 107 and the FAA, is you're going to hear the guy that got arrested, you're going to hear the guy that got a bunch of tickets, you're going to hear about those stories because negative drama brings in a lot of views on certain particular aspects of life, whether it be YouTube, the news, or whatever else. But I promise you this, and I believe this with all my heart, whoever said person was, unless they did something really, really flagrant, the FAA gave them an opportunity to correct the problem. I think their main goal, number one, is to educate people. So that's going to bring us up to, do you need a remote pilot license to fly your drone? Number one, to fly it, simply no. You can go out, like I said, a drone like this, you don't even have to register it in the past. And here's what I'm going to tell you guys. If you're seriously contemplating getting a drone, number one, I would suggest looking into the Part 107. The course that I took was from the Pilot Institute. I'll put a link down below. Yes, it is an affiliate link, and yes, if you enroll in that, I'll get a couple of bucks. But the number one thing is, regardless if you use my link or not, here's where I want to kind of explain a few things. Number one, you're going to learn so much with the Part 107 that it's well worth the money. If you fail the class that I'm talking about from the Pilot Institute, they'll give you your money back. Okay, I took his course in a reasonable amount of time and passed it with an A. And I'm not super sharp, guys. You can go back and look at any of my videos. Nobody's ever going to accuse me of being a rocket scientist, okay? I'm just saying he does a really good job with the school and teaches you a lot of things. Now I'm going to back up. Prior to getting my 107, I was recreational governed, if you will, and I took my drone last year on my moto camping trips. I went once to the East Coast, and I went once up to Michigan. And here's what happened. I carried the drone with me all the way there, all the way back, all the way up north, all the way back. I never got it out. You want to know why I didn't get it out? Number one, I didn't feel comfortable. What kind of airspace was I in? I didn't even really understand the airspace. There was so many different reasons that I didn't get my drone out because number one, I don't want to get in trouble. Number two, I can't afford a ticket, guys. I'm broke. It boils down to I can't afford a ticket. I didn't want to get in trouble. I hauled this drone everywhere simply because it's small and I could. Here's the one great thing about getting your Part 107. You're going to understand the airspace. You're going to know where you can and can't fly. You can't necessarily trust the apps that are on your phone that says, yeah, you're clear for takeoff. You may not be. It depends on what kind of airspace you're in. There's things you're going to learn, like you can't fly in a national park. You can't fly in a national wildlife refuge. And that would be the same if you was flying a helicopter. They've got certain regulations. So I don't feel like they're picking on the drone community at all. I think what they are trying to do is help you learn what you can and can't do. They're going to talk about things that you may not have thought of. And at the end of the day, just like I started out this video with, you should be excited if you're getting a drone because they're really cool and you can do some fun stuff with it. But I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction, and I want you to understand, if you're going outside of the recreational guidelines, guys, consider taking your Part 107. Again, these are tips that I just want to share with you guys. In the end, the one thing that I want to express more than anything, unless you're just actually flying around in your backyard or maybe even an air park or somewhere where you can legally fly recreational, you probably need to think about getting your 107. And again, guys, it's not a scary deal. I put it off for several years, and I wished I would have done it several years ago. The great thing about if you do it now and you pass the test, you don't have to retake the test every other year like they were doing when they originally created the license. Everything's getting kind of more in the norm, just like when you go do your driver's license test. Unless you get suspended, you don't have to take it again, guys. That's one of the great things. Again, I'm not super sharp. I can't recommend the Pilot Institute enough because they helped me understand so many things. I'm working on a short story for this channel, but I was riding my dual sport. I took my dual sport riders with me, and we ended up doing some drone stuff out in Louisiana. And I want to share that with you because there are some cool things that you can do with a drone, maybe some things that you have or haven't thought about. I've done some drone real estate stuff since we've gotten our license, and there's so many fun things that you can do. And yes, it will open up the doors to other opportunities. And again, if you're thinking about getting a drone, congratulations, because it's an awesome experience and it is an awesome tool to have in your tool bag. I just want to make sure that none of y'all get in trouble. Again, I don't think the FAA is after anybody, especially a small YouTube channel or even a large YouTube channel, because one of the people I know in particular, in the back of my mind, I watched their video. They've got a huge YouTube channel, and when I say huge, they're upwards of hundreds of thousands of subscribers. They were doing stuff what they felt like was covered with the recreational license or the recreational permit, whatever you want to call it. And the FAA contacted them and said, look, what you're doing doesn't qualify. And they gave them a time frame to get it corrected, because they didn't try picking a fight with the FAA. That's not a good idea, guys. Attitude goes a long ways in life, and it doesn't matter what you're talking about. But again, guys, I hope this video has been helpful. If you're thinking about getting a drone, consider looking into the Part 107. I don't care if you use my link or not. I just don't want you to get in trouble out there. Again, we're all trying to learn together and have fun together and work together and create fun stuff together. Again, we appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes. And until next week's video comes out, be sure to check out one of our playlists up above, and we look forward to seeing you again. May you have a blessed week, and let's go shoot some stuff.